Being a big Super NES fan, I recently got the Super Nintendo controller for Switch. So let's open this thing up, test it out with some games, and quickly review it. Comes pretty well packaged in this red box. On the back we have some details about the controller. Oh, that's convenient. It has a little finger handle, so you can just slide it right out. Inside the box is also a USB cord for charging it. Let's take it out of the plastic. It's so freshly wrapped. Ooh. My first impression is that it just looks weird because there's no wire sticking out of it, but I'll get used to that. It feels very similar and looks very similar to the original Super Nintendo controller. It does have a little bit more of a matte finish that I can feel as I hold it. Here's a regular Super Nintendo controller and here's the Switch version. And they look pretty much identical, as you can see. You know, a few little minor differences. Obviously the Switch one has a few more ports and it has like the lights and the button on the bottom. But other than that, they're like identical. Weight-wise, the Switch one feels a little bit heavier, but when you take into account the wire for the original one, they actually feel like they're similar weights. And here's the SN30 Pro controller, which also has a Super Nintendo looking design. It feels a little bit heavier, but it has the 2 extra thumbsticks for PlayStation games. I'm gonna start charging the controller. You see the orange light there indicates that it is indeed charging, and now we can test it out. You need to go to change grip order in the Switch settings, and then you hit the button down here. And it should show up. Okay, there it is, which means I can activate it and I'm ready to start playing some games. Now let's select Super Nintendo Switch Online. And let's go ahead and test Super Mario World because it's the classic Super Nintendo game. Let's just select a random level. When you're ready to go back to the main menu with this controller, you push ZL and ZR. Then you get the pop-up screen and you can go to game selection. Here I am playing another Super Nintendo classic, FZero. You guys remember this one? Let's go ahead and try an NES game with the Super Nintendo controller. It's a little weird playing NES games with this controller, and I guess you have the same problem with the Joy-Cons, but because the buttons are at an angle like this, and on the NES they're more straight, like horizontal like that, it makes it a little bit more awkward to play, but it's still definitely playable. I'm gonna go crazy and try Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with the Super Nintendo controller. There's no way this is gonna be good. I can't even control Link because there's no thumbstick. So I'm just doing like all the D-pad moves. So I definitely recommend this for retro games on your Switch, but not for modern games because it won't work with most modern games. It's $30 on the Nintendo website, which is where I got mine, and I'm sure you could also get it on Amazon. They do make an NES version of this too, but I think with that one you have to buy a 2-pack, and I really just wanted one, so I got the Super Nintendo one. Hope you enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.